You cannot play the games of marchers out in the streets like Martin Luther King to a society that has gone to hell already. There's this amazing speech given by Adolf Hitler where they started to actually, the idea was to take the SS and you can rat on your neighbor. If you see something, say something. Rat on your neighbor. Well, the people of Germany were so far off the scale that they were taking things from somebody who screwed them in middle school. Like, oh, I've always wanted to get them back. And turn them in. Hitler actually said, I'm paraphrasing, it's the most amazing thing I've ever read. This is Adolf Hitler. He said, what the hell is wrong with you people? Adolf Hitler looking at the Germans and saying, you disgust me. That's when he knew he had them. Because they were so internally corrupt that he could do anything. And he did. There's about an 18-month window, and I contend we're in it. An 18-month window that if you don't slip through that window, there's no going back. And in that 18-month window, that is the moment that a Martin Luther King or a Gandhi or an Abraham Lincoln need to appear and need to lead the people to righteousness or profound global darkness will come. Occupy Wall Street is some of the most dark, evil stuff I've ever seen. I am moving out of New York City. I attended a movie in the park with my daughters and my wife this summer. I'm used to getting the slings and arrows. I get it. But leave my children alone. My children were a block away from me. And people, women, were standing up and pointing and screaming at my children, "Get out of New York!" My children. I wasn't with them. The country is splitting. But Martin Luther King was right. If you put goodness next to evil, if you compare them and you let people see them, that's what they're trying to do at Occupy Wall Street. They are trying to make the police officers look bad. Those police officers, I got news for you. I'm about ready to go club a few of those dopes in the head for them. These police officers are amazing. They're standing there now for how long? 2 months? Standing there, being called every name, being pushed and poked and prodded. And they do nothing. Those are Americans. We have people who glorify cop killers. We have rapes going on. How many people have died? 7? And the media says nothing. 1968, as David knows, a banner year for the American left. But 1968 was also the year of the moonshot. When you had pigs rolling around in the mud, you also had man walking up on the moon. And America was split. Am I Woodstock? Or do we reach out and touch the stars? America has the choice again. The same choice with the same people. But in 1968, the riots were in the streets. And because the same people are there and they're trying to recreate 68, let's look what happened in the 1960s. We had four assassinations. Let me ask you, there are 4 presidents in the history of our country that have been assassinated. How many of them have been killed by Marxists? 3. 3. The only one that wasn't a Marxist was John Wilkes Booth. And he was a revolutionary. He wanted to dissolve the republic. In the 1960s, JFK was killed by a Marxist, whipped up by a foreign power. RFK killed by a Jordanian who didn't want any more support going for Israel. The Palestinians were oppressed. MLK was killed by a racist. Malcolm X, killed by the Nation of Islam. Do we have any of those seeds that are being planted right now? They will recreate 68. The question is, are we strong enough to stand? There is no moonshot. There is nothing to have us look to the heavens because NASA's too busy telling Islam how great it is. Here's where we're headed.